I'm going to say a word on majority leader and impeachment, okay? Because I was asked to talk about that, even though we're just going to do questions on this. So first, I'll start off with January 6th. To me, this is my own personal experience there. It was, Charles Dickens wrote a book called A Tale of Two Cities. And he said it was the best of times, it was the worst of times. January 6th was the best of times and the worst of times for me. You may remember, January 5th was the election in Georgia. And we had, as midnight came and Tuesday bled into Wednesday, January 6th, I was still up watching the TV, punching numbers on the computer from all these counties. At 4 a.m., I learned that the two Democrats, Warnock and Ossoff, had won, and I would be majority leader. Of course, my first reaction was joy. Wow, we had worked so long and hard for this. But shortly thereafter, I had another reaction, which was what I would call awesome, but not awesome in the sense my teenage daughters used to use it. Gee, Dad, that's awesome. Awesome in the biblical sense. When the angels saw the face of God, they trembled in awe. It was awesome in terms of the enormous responsibility placed on my shoulders. There are millions of Michelles who need help in a variety of ways to get out of this pandemic. There are millions of Americans who need to be sure they can stay in the middle class and get in the middle class, and that's always been my mission. And I felt the huge responsibility on my shoulders made me tremble a little bit, like the angels trembled. Not that I'm as good as an angel. Okay, so I went to bed at 4:30, got in my car, drove to Washington, got on the floor of the Senate at about 1. Within an hour, a police officer with a bulletproof vest and a submachine gun, a big submachine gun strapped across his waist, grabbed me by the collar, not harshly but firmly, said, "Senator, we got to go, you're in danger." I was within, as the film they showed at the impeachment trial showed, I was within 30 feet of these awful insurrectionists, these selfish, violent, bad people who invaded the Capitol. What a day. So it was the best of times, the worst of times. Let me say two things about that, and it lead to impeachment. First, I hope every one of them is prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. And to Central New Yorkers and everybody else, there's one way you can help. The FBI director asked me to do this. On the FBI website, they have now 700 pictures of the people who were in the building, in the Capitol. And they've recognized, I think, a little bit less than half of them by now. They ask American citizens, good citizens, to go on that website. You say, how the heck am I going to know one of these people? But you might. It's like, oh, I went to high school with that guy and then he moved to Indiana. Or, oh, I worked next to him on the assembly line years ago. Okay, so people should look. But I have asked the acting Attorney General to make sure they're prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law, and told him we would give him all the resources he needed, and he said yes. But make no mistake about it. The person who incited this was Donald J. Trump. And I believe he deserved to be impeached, and he should have been convicted. This was the most despicable act any president has ever done. And the trial, I think the managers did a very good job, made very clear that Donald Trump was behind it. And if you don't believe me, you can ask Mitch McConnell. He said the trial proved that McConnell had incited this awful event, the worst thing that's happened to the Capitol since 1812, when the British invaded it. And so I believe he should have been convicted. I salute the 7 Republican senators who convicted him. I am very disappointed in those who didn't. But make one thing for sure, he has been convicted in the court of public opinion. He has been convicted by the American people. People saw in full display what happened. Both his inciting, his calling them there, asking them to march, telling them he and his colleagues using language that was clear to them meant violence. And when they were there, as the evidence showed, he refused to call it off. And when he did it in such milquetoast terms that no one paid attention to him at the beginning, even when his own Vice President Pence, was in danger. So what the president did was awful. I hope that, I believe that Americans have seen this and his support will fade over the next several months. I believe that the court of public opinion has convicted him. And that's all I'm going to say on impeachment, and I'm in a hurry. I'm going to have to bid you adieu. Thank you.